Is there reason for you to be optimistic? Hey, it's been a rough couple months. If you're an investor in gold, silver, precious metal mining stocks, I get it. Trust me, I understand. But is there reason to be optimistic? What's a recent news story that talks about the world's most sophisticated financial institutions and what they are doing with precious metals? What does that tell us? Can we take a step back, right, and look at the big picture, look at the forest through the trees, and when we do so, do we see a big pot of silver and a big pot of gold right on the other side of that forest? We've got some fascinating things to talk about. Let's do it right now. Did you play video games when you were growing up? Remember your childhood? Heck, in 1980, when I was a 10-year-old boy, a quarter was a big deal. But remember video games when they first came out? They were even a bigger deal. I remember there was a 7-Eleven about 200 yards from my house, and every month they would rotate through a new game. Donkey Kong, Galaga. But they got a game called Knockout, I think it was. It was a boxing game, right? And I remember when they first got it, you put your quarter in and you'd be boxing, and the whole time you played it, you'd hear it say, body blow, body blow, body blow. And that's what it feels like, doesn't it? To be invested in gold and silver lately? Body blow, body blow. The price starts to go up a little bit, and then boom, we get punched right in the gut. Well, do you know any kids now? Because I'll tell you what, 10-year-old kids now, they don't walk to 7-Eleven to play video games. They do it right on their tablet, and they do it with an app called Roblox. I always get it mixed up. Anyway, and don't worry, this has to do with silver and gold. The kids play the game. They're always begging to buy Robux. Robux is like a cryptocurrency. It's like they're converting our kids to cryptocurrency. The kids beg the parents for Robux. The parents put their credit card information in. Money gets sucked out of the credit card and converted into Robux. And then the kids can use it to buy different things. The important thing that I've noticed with all these games, right? Sure, they're converting our kids to cryptocurrency, but all these games, the big reward, a lot of times what they're collecting, it's always gold and silver coins. So while they might be converting our kids to cryptocurrency, the kids are also learning that gold and silver coins are valuable. I've asked my kids, right? Ask any 10-year-old kid, what's the most valuable thing you can typically get in one of your games? It's almost always gold coins, silver coins. Sometimes there's diamond stuff, but trust me, these kids, they're still learning the value of gold. And you know who else is? The world central banks. That's the most sophisticated level of financial institution in the world. And we just got some fascinating news regarding, for January alone, the amount of gold that the world central banks are buying. We'd like to thank our sponsor, First Mining Gold. They're a Canadian gold developer with 2 world-class projects in Canada. They also have a handful of other projects. When you total up all the gold in their resources, it comes to over 12 million ounces. They're worth checking out. I'll put a link to the company's website in the description below. How many tons of gold do you think the world central banks bought in January alone? If you guessed 77 tons, you hit the number right on the mark. But what's so important for us to look at regarding that number is that was a 192% increase from December of 2022. Month over month, 192% increase. And when you look at that within the context that the year 2022, that was a record level of gold purchases by the world central banks. Don't forget, these are the most sophisticated financial institutions in the world. In 2022, they bought more gold since like 1950. Now, take a step back. Think about this. In 1950, the world was absolutely on the gold standard. So last year, these most sophisticated financial institutions in the world, and don't worry, I won't say that again, they bought more gold than most of the years when the world was on the gold standard. What is that telling us? When you're trying to find something, I was working so hard to come up with a good analogy. The best I could come up with is, if we heard that a country was making record purchases of ammunition and bombs, we would know, right? We would read between the lines and figure, well, maybe they think there's a big conflict coming up. If world central banks are buying a record amount of gold, what is that telling us? Tell me what you think about that in the comment section below. Ron's Basement is nothing without you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you right now. I might be in your living room. We might be on a bus. We might even be on an aeroplane crossing the Atlantic Ocean. But wherever we are right now, I appreciate you deciding to spend some time with me here in the basement. It is my honor, and I hope you decide to come back. But do you want a little tidbit of bonus information? But wait, there's more. Those are the official numbers. It's generally accepted that countries like China, who, by the way, bought almost 15 metric tons in January alone, that they don't even accurately report their numbers, that they underreport. We don't even know numbers from countries like Russia, so the real number of central bank buying could even be higher. Remember, we had a huge increase in January. We had 2022 that was a record year. I think if we look at the big picture, right, try to see the forest through the trees. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Why are these banks buying so much gold? I thought it was a pet rock or something like that. I think it was Greenspan or Bernanke that referred to it as that, or was bought because of tradition. Well, maybe it's a little bit more. And the World Gold Council, they said this: looking ahead, we see little reason to doubt that central banks will remain positive towards gold and continue to be net purchasers in 2023. Then World Gold Council Global Head of Research Juan Carlos Artigas, he told Kitco News this, and I'm quoting, "Even though gold is not backing currencies anymore," I might argue that, but nonetheless, it is still being utilized. Why, he asked? Because it is a real asset. And we know that's going on all over the world, right? This bifurcation, right? East and West, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and a host of other countries that are aligning with the BRICS nations that are developing their own currency that they have explicitly said will likely be backed by real assets, and generally that is accepted to be a large component of silver and gold. And they're having a big conference in August of this year in South Africa, where everyone is expecting an announcement regarding this. The value of gold, the value of silver is being reclaimed by the world citizens as real money. So I would argue with Mr. Juan Carlos that actually silver and gold, maybe they always have continued to back money. Remember that Federal Reserve governor? I think his name was John Exter. If you haven't already, look up John Exter and do some research on Exter's pyramid. He just died 15, 20 years ago, but he had strong beliefs that no matter how you slice it or dice it, right, at the base of any money, paper money, electronic money, heck, maybe even those Robux my kids play with, at the very base of that supports everything are silver and gold. Hey, I appreciate you joining me here in the basement. It really is my honor when you come down here and spend some time with me. I'll look forward to seeing you, yes, you, next time.